I made 100 tiny color changing potions in one day. And I'm going to show you how. Why color changing? Why is it called totally not poison? And why make 100 of them? All in due time, my friends, but for now, let's see what the chest has to offer today. Hey fellow Fantascapists, it's Val here and welcome to ADHDIY, where we make random shit because that's where the dopamine flows. These are all my failures and experiments, which I will get into in a moment, but for now, let's begin with distilled water and our bottles. Now you may notice these bottles are nowhere near tiny, but it's because I have to make 100 of where is it?
Juice.
These tiny bottles to make my process easier. I decided to use these bottles, which are about 500 mils each. I can attach this little bottle thing that pours the liquids easier. It'll just make the process
Much faster for me.
when I have to fill these tiny bottles. Being a fantasy tavern keeper, I have made many potions in the past with a lot of failures. Using distilled water is key to prevent bacteria growths. It is absolutely disgusting. I'm not actually trying to poison anyone. I don't know what's growing in there. I don't want to find out, so it's just staying corked. The small potions, the bottles, what the hell, are about 10 mils each. We're gonna need about 900 mils of distilled water and 100 mils of glycerin. I am not one for measuring, you guys already know that, so we're just gonna eye it and hope for the best. This is kind of a workout. Toots, 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 toots. Okay. We're going to add some glycerin. I found that glycerin is very helpful with creating that little flowy, shimmery, magical effect for the potions. Adding too much of it, not a good idea. It's just going to cause too much flow in there, so I'm trying to be careful here. Oh shoot, I'm making a mess. And this process is not like super precise. You can add as much glycerin as you like, as little water as you like, but that's how I am doing this. So we're gonna mix. The one thing I didn't think through here is that the bottlenecks are a little too tight, so I don't know how I'm gonna be mixing. Next up, I'm adding food coloring. And I was experimenting. Let's just get to exhibit number 1 over here. I'm not trying to make it just a regular poison looking jar like this one with the green. It looks nice, it looks very poisony, but that's just so incredibly boring. This was originally red, and then it turned into some sort of Shrek swamp water. I was trying to go for like a nice contrast with a red food coloring and like a green powder, so it goes from red to green. I quickly realized that I have no clue what color theory is. Here's all of my test subjects. You can achieve the green look 2 ways. One, you don't put any food coloring at all. You just put some green mica powder inside. There was a little bit of pink in there, and when you shake it, it turns into this like kind of like dirty green. I think it looks kind of boring. It kind of takes away from the magic of like this colored liquid. I wanted the potion to have like a deeper reddish color, so I have this kind of like orangey color that's supposed to turn green, but instead it started turning gold for some reason. We have these 2 over here that are kind of blue that are supposed to turn green, which I found were the closest ones to the result that I wanted. 2 yellow food coloring potions with blue mica powder inside. And they kind of do turn green. I think this one's a little closer to home, but this one is more blue. I decided to go for blue food coloring. The trick I found with food coloring is adding just enough color inside your fluid so that you can see that color, but also that it's not too concentrated, that when you add the powder in later on, it doesn't mix with it super well and it just kind of like overpowers the color of the powder. For the next step, I'm adding mica powder. This is my test subject. You can see over here, we have like real nice green color. I don't remember how I achieved it. I put out the 4 colors that I think I mixed mainly, but I only used 2. I remember I definitely used some gold, and I remember I definitely used some green. Let's start with some glitter green. By color theory, you're supposed to add yellow color to make green color. But because the blue color in this bottle is not super concentrated, I thought that adding green color actually just makes it green. The more mica powder you add, the more density then you create, and the harder it is to then achieve that blue color back when the powder settles. Ooh. Very important to add a little bit of mica powder. I think I fucked up into the potion bottle. If you need to adjust anything, you just keep adding little by little instead of adding like a ton straight away. Let's try some gold powder. The gold powder kind of serves to me like the yellow color, and it makes the potion have a little bit more like life to it. Doesn't this feel like when you were a kid and you just gathered a bunch of soaps and shampoos and whatever it is that you can find in your bathroom and just make potions and concoctions pretending like you're a witch? This is gonna really pull me out into the weird kid territory. I was obsessed with Scooby-Doo to a point where I had Scooby-Doo as my imaginary friend, and obviously Scooby-Doo had to be invisible, otherwise people would do tests on him. He's a cartoon dog, right? So I had to make potions at home out of several soaps my grandma owned, and he had to take it so that he stays invisible. It was a magical potion, right? I think for like a good year, I had Scooby-Doo walking around with me invisible, and I would talk to him when I was walking home alone from school and stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit more of this one. Oh, I think I fucked up. Okay. Let's see what's gonna happen. I'm so scared. I think I messed up the color. Actually, it's not bad. I think this is the brave moment that I required in order to make this work. I'm afraid that I may have added too much mica powder in there. When it starts to settle, it might not settle fully and not sell on the effect. I'll start working on the next bottle. Let's start with this one. I learned something very important at a previous event. Never try to make a potion with regular water and white edible glitter. It will become something else. It's looking a little bit kind of like, and
that's not the vibe I was going for.
We're gonna start filling up our potion bottles with this fluid. In order to have a smooth, uniform situation of all the potions looking kind of similar, I'm gonna need to make sure that all of these are mixed properly every time I am pouring the liquid into the potion bottle. Are you ready? You see how there's some blueness in there? It's going to get mixed into the green. We go fast. Are we ready? Am I ready? I don't know. Why? Wow. Okay. That was stressful. First bottle filled. Let's get into a quick time lapse and I'll get back to you once all the potions are filled. I'm bringing my fantasy tavern to a real-life fantasy ball as a pop-up experience, and my tavern keeper Tara is cursed with something very stupid called the Shimmy Special. Some of you may know this. When it's activated, normally she is required to do an involuntary dance along with her bard. For the event itself, I wanted the experience to feel fantasy, to have elements of D&D, so I created this D20 roll sheet where, depending on what you're gonna roll, you're gonna get a different experience. If you roll an at 20, you discover Tara's curse, and you get to decide, do you activate it? If yes, Tara and the bard will dance. I wanted it to feel like a true experience of how my skits go, where Tara gets so annoyed with your action that she gives you a poison that's concealed as something special and free, like an elixir, in a very obvious way. hence the title, Totally Not Poison. But to reflect the fact that Tara is concealing her poison to look like a potion, I wanted to give it an extra magical feeling, and I thought a color change would be a really cool addition that would be dramatic and easy to show in a bigger crowd. And as I've said before, research is not my forte. I usually like to fuck around and find out. So many mistakes happen, which I'm gonna get into right now. Man, this took longer than I thought. This is not fully done settling. There's still more mica powder that's going down in the bottle. Once it fully settles, it'll be fully blue here, and then all we have to do is just shake it and then it turns green. Using the bottles was a complete mistake. Mixing in the bottles was really hard. Pouring out the liquid so fast, but then I couldn't mix it fast enough in the bottle that it was only the blue liquid that was pouring out, but not so much of the powder. So I ended up actually using a glass. At first I tried using the pipette, but the pipette's too small. Instead, I just basically dipped the vial inside the glass and it worked well for me. And I actually had to add some extra mica powder inside of these bottles. I found that in the bottle the color looked a lot more contrasty, but when I put it into these bottles it wasn't as good, so I just did extra work for extra time. To make this potion extra fun, I found these skeleton heads in my everything drawer. I thought they would be a cool trinket to add inside the vials. They will also serve as like an extra helper for spreading the mica powder when you shake the bottle. Isn't that fun? I love this. Oh. I was gonna put this as a microphone and then this as a potion. Boom. I'm going to glue the cork to the bottle so that for sure you cannot possibly be able to drink it. Let's get some hot glue. I'm just going to apply it to the cork over here, put that inside the bottle, just like so. And voila! It is in its natural level 1 form currently, and we're gonna make it a level 100. But first I gotta do this thing to 98 more potions. Let's go. Just so you know, you can get extended versions of these DIYs, updates, member recognitions, exclusive perks over on Patreon, so check out the links in the description or click join below to become a member of this channel. Look at him, they're so cute. They're so cute, I love them so very much. Now we must take it one step further and pretend like we know what we're doing, which is what I do most of the time. I used to have this like real nice thick thread. It still looks pretty nice and I guess whimsical, fantasy-esque. I can only wrap this thread around the neck twice, and these potion bottles are even smaller. It would be really hard to wrap a thick thread like this. The string is pretty thin. You don't need much of it for the neck of this bottle, 3 or 4 wraps. You don't require any glue. It's almost like a sailor's knot. You would make a little hoop like this and just kind of put it up to the bottle. And now I'm going to wrap the bottle around. You can kind of see where I'm holding. And I do 2 wraps or so. And at this point, I can let go of my thumb over here and I just hold the end of the string over here. I can tighten that part up, but I make sure to kind of like still hold things in place here, both the ends of the string, and I just pull on the thread here. Once we have this whole situation going on over here, I kind of take the rest of the thread and put it through that loop over there. I hold the string over here so it doesn't go anywhere, just outside of that loop once we pull it through. And then I tug onto that string that I was holding with my thumb. We can just do a little knot here. Boom, boom, bang. Oppa. Perfection. I'm gonna cut the string on both ends and it should stay on securely. I really hate that there's all these wispies flying around, so I'm going to actually burn them away. Burn the ends just slightly so they don't come apart. Now we're just gonna do the same thing to
Every single potion over here.
forgot. Why did I make 100 of these? Because the box had 100 bottles, and I was like, I might as well just make 100, so why have all these extra potions? But I don't actually think I'm gonna need 100 of these, so I might give away a couple of those to the patrons. Wow. This took like 2 hours to do. It's like 10 p.m. and we still have 2 steps to go before we move on to the wax seal, which is something that's gonna make our potions look expert level. Right now, professional. I have these labels that I would like to put on the potions. They are printed on sticker paper. I made them rectangular so that it's easier to cut. Let's see if I did a good job. Yeah, not bad. It was already looking pretty cool. I made the stickers myself. They say totally not poison. They have some super secret rune language on them that is actually real. They just have a little tiny warning to not drink it, because you should not drink that. That's gonna get you sick. It's 10:30 p.m. right now. The stickers took not so much of my time compared to the string. I'm very excited to get into the wax part of our experience here. A wax seal is something that's gonna help our potions get to that expert whimsy level. 2 options for how we can do the seal. We can try using a hot glue stick that's golden color, or actual wax seals. Here's the stitch. This is how big the glue sticks are, and this is how big the wax sticks are. So the wax sticks are slightly bigger. This is a potion with the glue seal, and this is a potion with the wax seal. With the glue, you can actually control where the dripping goes, and it just takes a little bit slower to dry. The wax seal is a lot drippier. It's harder to control, but it dries faster, which makes the seal itself, the stamp, stick to it less. It's really, really hard to take off the stamp because it actually glues to the glue, which is, I guess, whoever invented the glue is really happy right now. It does the thing that it's supposed to. In this case, that's not what we want. I'm going to start with the wax first. I don't think I have enough wax, so I might have to switch to the glue, which is fine. This gun actually is pretty cool because it has the on and off button. I let it run for a bit, let it melt in there, and then I turn it off and let it sit for a bit. That helps the wax thicken. It makes it easier to control and lets liquidy, which is what I found happened to me in the past. I have a seal, a letter T over here. T is a little bit bigger than the potion bottle itself, so I'm not sure how that's gonna go. I want to put just enough wax so that it starts to drip, and then we are going to put this seal over here. I'm sort of like stomping here so that I can get the wax to drip a bit more. Yeah. The T is not really showing off well. Because the stamp is bigger, I'm trying to create more space by adding a little bit of wax right into the space where the cork meets the bottle. I let it dry, and once that's dry, add the rest of the wax on top of the cork and then use the stamp. Let's see what we're working with here. Sick! This is the best one we've got so far. Let's do one last time lapse and we'll be done. Someone rolls a nat 20 at the event, I don't want them to just get a dance. I want them to leave with proof that they found the curse, they chose to activate it, and Tara chose to poison them. receiving something like this make you feel special at an event? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, check this one out over here. I think you'll enjoy it. Keep embracing your weirdness through fantasy. I think I did it! I don't know why I did that, and now I'm gonna have to clean up because you don't even know what it looks like right now.